The people that live together before marriage don't have as great of marriages. That's just what I've seen.
And those people go to church like 2 to 3 times a week, don't they?
No, they don't.
They're not extremely religious and biblical people. Really?
Really?
I don't believe you.
Well, moving on.
Did I offend you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You probably saw a future with that person. Maybe you wanted to marry that person. And now you're still keeping in touch.
I can't stop myself from feeling. But I can control my actions.
Cheating can be great in a lot of areas.
Got me feeling good today.
Welcome, everyone, to Jam Session number 11 with Jazz
and Montez.
Today we are matching.
We found out that we had actually some pretty close related hoodies. And I was like, well, then all of our friends can sponsor this podcast for the day. Mine's is slightly different. Mine's is a lot of the black characters from a lot of the cartoons that I grew up with.
Yours is dope.
Hers is from a television show that everybody knows that I actually have not watched much of. Yeah, I've not watched much of Friends. I've seen some episodes, and it's actually a great show, but it's just, don't look at me like that. Have you seen Martin?
Yeah.
Okay. You seen Living Single? Okay, cool. Then we're on the same page.
Are we, though? Is Living Single just as popular as Friends?
It depends on who you're asking.
You could ask probably anyone about Friends, and they would probably... Okay, all right, we're going to get started. So today we're talking about basically, well, this is going to be based off opinions, but honestly, what would you do? So these are going to be different. Would you do this? Would you do that kind of questions?
Are most of these questions, am I going to say no?
We'll see.
Okay.
Would you marry someone before living with them?
No, absolutely not. No. I am way too clean and way too organized. I already got this idea that I'm going to have separate bathrooms with my wife. Yeah, no chance.
You're not going to explain? So yours is what, based
on cleanliness and organization.
Okay.
Yeah. I need to know if we can actually cohabitate because I like things a very particular way. I've never actually lived with a significant other for more than like a month. So I don't actually know if they're going to be comfortable with me having my me time. Am I allowed to have my own bathroom, or is that a no-go for them? Do we have to shower every time together? Am I allowed to go into my man cave and just disappear?
And you don't think that you would figure that out once you're married? You think you have to do that before?
Why does that commitment need to happen before we figure that out? That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, actually, it's funny you asked. So there's actually quite a bit of studies done on people who live together before marriage, and the rate of divorce is 30% higher if you live together before marriage.
That's because of the stigma around marriage. Once you are married, you feel like you're obligated to stay together. It's not because, in my opinion, it's not because before or after there's a change in what you like and dislike. So, and that might be true. I don't know that stat, but I don't think it's because the person is all of a sudden a different person.
No, I don't think it's that either. I don't think that's the reason. Okay, well, I would marry someone before living with them because I feel like...
Would you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Because regardless, when you move in with someone, you're going to have to learn how to make things work together. If you know that that's the person that you're choosing to be with, those are things that you would figure out together as a team. The first year of marriage or the first year of living together is when you figure out all of those things and you make it work. But there's a commitment there, knowing that you're both there to stay and stick it out and figure it out together.
But the word live is in it. Living together. It is your life. It's not like, oh, I don't like the way she speaks. I don't like the way her hair is waffed. I don't like the way she dresses. It's her clothes with my clothes. You have those things, can you live with that for the rest of your life?
And you don't think you can figure that out once you're...
I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying the likelihood of everything being okay to your standard is slim. Especially, that's why I started with, I'm a very particular person.
So what I'm hearing is you're a very difficult person.
No. I am difficult.
That is difficult.
Is it?
Yes. To be that particular, to have everything a certain way, and you're not going to...
I didn't say I wasn't going to budge, but there's certain things that I may not want to. Like, am I allowed to disappear and have my me time for a certain amount of time? I don't know. Am I, like, if you're...
Yeah, but why wouldn't you? You should be able to know that before you marry that person.
How?
Because in a relationship, if you're really that close and you're on that, pathway to marriage, then you're probably going to have times in the relationship where they're going to already know that about you, that you need your me time, that's important to you, that's
an assumption. That's a big assumption as well.
No,
because once you're in this, like, if you live in the same spot, especially if it's like a 750 square foot apartment, there's a bathroom, there's a bedroom, there's a living room, there's a kitchen. Yeah. What, you going to go hide in the laundry room? You're with each other all the time. What if you need me time?
Then you communicate that with your partner, and if they value you and think that and what's important to you is important to them, that should not be an issue.
Right, but it's not a real thing until it's a real thing. That is not, like, you can say it all you want, but how you actually feel in that moment, you don't know.
I've heard this discussion many times. I heard it by a doctor. He talks about relationships all the time. He's a relationship coach and he speaks all over the world. Anyways, one of the things that he said was that people like to say, oh, I want to live with someone before marriage because you don't buy a car without test driving it first, right? So that's the example he used. He says, yeah, well, a woman or a man, like, is not a car. It's not an object. He was saying when you decide that you commit to someone, you're going to learn to work together.
But
and
you're taking the assumption that there is no decommission with the commission. Like, once you commit to it, there is a possibility for this to be an exit button. That's what you're considering. You're not considering that, like, it now became overwhelming. You test that, but it's like anything with a production. You do test rounds before you actually do that thing. So that way you can make sure that it works. And if it doesn't work, that's why I say after the marriage is what the ceremony, the bonding and the societal pressure is what keeps them like, oh my God, I have to. Well, before, like, they don't change as a person before and after the person, but it's the marriage that puts the stamp on. It's like a binding thing that forces them.
It's a level of commitment. Yeah. Right. And you're seeing that as a negative thing?
So you see that? No, I'm saying it as a thing. And I'm saying positive or negative. I'm saying it is the thing. Yo, so you agree with me or disagree with me?
With which part?
All of it. So what do we, wait, hold on. I see we're just not going to agree with this. Now we're just going to, what do y'all think? Because I am very solid on this. I am beyond solid on this. Okay. So, all right, question. There's this TV show. I've never watched it before, but everybody says, like, I would be the most entertaining on it because I'm probably against it. I would be the most entertaining. You marry somebody within like 30 days and you never see the person. You only have conversation with them. I think it's a wall.
Oh, yeah, I know what it is. Oh. Love is Blind.
Would you?
Seen that show?
I've not seen it, but I've heard things. Like, the concept to me as a show is amazing.
Brilliant.
It's hilarious. It's dramatic. It's everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know the name of it. I don't know the full details of it, but when it was explained to me, I was like, that is kind of, whoever came up with that. Would you do that?
Would I go on that show?
Would you marry somebody without seeing them, without knowing?
No.
How is that any different than this? It's just that on an extreme level.
No way.
How is it not?
Okay. If you're dating someone, you're most likely staying at each other's places maybe, or spending enough time together to know what it would be like to an extent. To have to know every single little detail.
You're adding elements to it. Right. But yes, you find you get little bits and pieces of it. And it's okay when you can, it's like one day somebody jab you in the chin. Oh, I can take that. I get to go back to the crib. I recover. Bang, jab to the chin. Take that. Hook shot. Bang. Take that. Eat that. But then in one day, consistently, for every single day after that for the rest of your life, you just catching blows. Bang, bang, bang. You can't keep swallowing those screams at that point. There is no recovery process. I hear what you're saying, but I don't think you're quite understanding the magnitude of not having the test runs, not having the actual scenario.
Honestly, most marriages that I personally know in my sphere of life, that are healthy, whole, happy marriages never lived together before marriage. The people that live together before marriage don't have as great of marriages. That's just what I've seen.
And those people go to church like 2 to 3 times a week, don't they?
No, they don't.
They're not extremely religious and biblical people. Really?
Really.
I don't believe you.
Well, moving on.
Did I offend you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Would you be in a serious long distance relationship? Again, because we already know I've also been in long distance relationships. So now that you've had some experience in that world, would you be in a serious long distance relationship?
Yes. Next question. Would you?
Yes, I would. But for how long would you, okay, this is a better question maybe. How long would it be long distance before you'd be like, okay, now you would just be long distance until what? Move in with me? And then
no, until life works, because my career doesn't allow me to just move to Texas or to move to Amsterdam or to move to Bali or some wild place. It doesn't allow for that. I need to be in LA, Atlanta, New York, possibly Chicago, London. I need to be where film is. But that doesn't mean that the person that I connect with most and that understands me most is not in Lisbon or random country in Belgium or in Italy or Nigeria or some part of the free world that I'm not. They can be, I don't know, anywhere. South America, Chile, I don't know, anywhere. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't be open to that bond.
Okay, would you be willing to relocate for a relationship?
Is it in New York, Chicago, Atlanta, or London?
I don't know. So no, you wouldn't, because not if it didn't make sense with your career.
No.
Well, that's also same for me. If it does not make sense for my goals and my purposes first, sorry, we could be long distance or for now until we can figure it out. But would I relocate?
We can stay friends. We could definitely stay friends.
But would I relocate in a place for somewhere that would elevate his career and I could still make it work for mine? Yes, I would. Okay, true or false? A man would change his toxic behaviors for the right woman.
Yes, I firmly believe that. I almost got into this before, but I knew I was going to go into a tangent. I don't know if it was 3 episodes ago or 2 episodes ago. People grow, people change, people have experiences, and with those experiences comes adaptations. It can literally be an hour later, because a lot of it is about fantasy. A lot of it is about what you imagine the future to look like and what you can be, what you can become. If there was a man that constantly screamed, his thing was when there was a disagreement with whoever his significant other was, whether felt like he was right or felt like he was wrong, he would just start hollering. I truly believe that if his fantasy person was to come into his life, if he from a child loved Kelly Rowland, and Kelly Rowland walked into a room and was like, I will be with you if you just fix this one thing, I can almost guarantee that he will go to the ends of the earth to at least try in a single moment, just because of the fantasies that he has for that woman. Well, most people were like, nope, once a person, always a person. I don't agree with that. I think that it just takes a large enough catalyst for that change to happen. Were you going to say no?
No, I actually think that people can change, especially if they want something bad enough, like kind of what you were saying. I don't know about the whole fantasy thing.
Why not? Why not the fantasy thing? Because I just learned this in acting class. It's there's 2 things that really drive us, and that is ambition and sex or love. Sex/love. If you can think of any other thing that can stir emotion or that can be a catalyst towards change, it somehow fits under those 2 pillars. So why is fantasy not under either love or sex or ambition?
Sure, I think it's under maybe the sex one. But how long would someone be able to magically remove these toxic behaviors before their true colors really come out? Because I don't think.
So you said people don't change, people act. That's what that statement.
No, but people can change over time. But you said in a moment they can just switch it off. I don't think so. I don't think that people can in a second change. I think it takes time to change. I think people can learn to change, and that if they find the right person, they will become someone worthy of that person. But to say that a playboy is going to overnight just be like, I'm never going to have any of these toxic behaviors anymore because I found the right one.
Okay,
no,
so
he's probably going to have to like really work at that.
So
like
here's my counter argument, because you're balancing two different elements of, I would say, time. If we're looking at time in a single day, and we just take that scenario of Kelly Rowland walking in here and don't scream, or we will never have a chance to be together. And then the girl that he's actually dating comes in and starts the argument. Do you think in that moment he's not going to change how he's been doing it in that time frame?
Yeah.
Right. So there's change, but we're not talking about change as like actually who he is. He hasn't built that habit yet, but that's still change. And then in the long run, is there a possibility within that, what is it, 30 days to build a habit, something like that? It used to be 2 weeks, and now it's apparently.
I think it's 21 days.
21, somewhere between
21 days. I think 90 days is like permanent. 21 days, I don't know, something.
Yeah, something like that. But you don't think that it's a possibility that if he did it one time, he can repeat it for 3 weeks? Because now change happened in that moment, then change happened in 3 weeks. Because there's a possibility.
Well, put it this way. It might be an action that he's able to do in order to get a desired outcome, but is it an inward heart change? I'm not sure about that. You
contradicted yourself then.
Okay, how?
In the beginning, you said yes, but then now you're describing no.
No, I said over time. That's my whole argument. Is that I do believe people can change over time. In a second, no. I don't think that you can have a heart change in a moment because this is your dream girl, and now you're all of a sudden magically
Read the question again.
Gonna have this. You're gonna have character and integrity, and you're gonna be a man of like what?
Can you read the question again?
Yeah. A man would change his toxic behaviors for the right woman.
Right. So if we only look at the frame of that moment where he is like, just the story arc of him having an argument with his sister, and then Kelly Rowland walks in and says, Kelly Rowland was my crush.
We can tell she's your fantasy girl. You've only said her name 10 times, and she got brought up in another episode.
Kelly Rowland walks in, and she's like, I would like it if you stopped. Like, you have all the perfect traits, and we would like it if you don't yell at a woman ever. I would like it if you don't yell at a woman ever again. And then maybe you and I can be together. And I'm not much of a, like, I'm not a screamer. So like, I'm not saying that this is me in the scenario, but she walks out, his sister starts, bang, I hate you. You ain't blah, blah. And then he sits there and doesn't say anything. In that moment, his story arc is now that he has had a moment. He's being tested. In that moment, he has had change. Is it for you to decide how quickly his heart has changed? No. But is it a possibility that he did or did not? Yes. But the thing is, you're saying, no, there's not a possibility, which means the basis of time is now allotted to you here. Can he change or can he not change in that moment?
He can change his behavior, I suppose. But it doesn't mean, like I said, that he's had a real heart change.
Fair.
So that's what I would say. Depending on how important alone time is for you, would you be in a relationship with someone who is the complete opposite of you in this?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that question forces the person to think that they need to go all the way to the other person, and that other person is not going to come towards them, or that it's like that every single moment. 1 hour, it could be closer to the opposite end. The next hour, it could be closer to this end. It could be more closer to we're in different rooms and we're doing different things. We're now in the same room doing different things. We're now in the same room doing the exact same thing for hours and hours and hours on end. There's a range in that relationship. You just have to find the balance so that the tank is never on zero.
Well, so I'm the one on the opposite end in this scenario. Alone time isn't that important to me. I don't need it as much as others. But I tend to be drawn to or attracted to people who it is important to them because it's my opposite and I'm attracted to my opposite.
So, wait, you're attracted to people who like their alone time or attracted to people?
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because it just turns out that usually those opposites can complement each other. And so, yes, I would absolutely be with someone that felt like that was important to them. And I think that is an opportunity for me to honor that and be like, okay, great. Well, you need it. I'm going to go do my thing. You do your thing. And we'll come together when we come together, you know?
Yeah, I didn't expect you. I didn't expect you to say that. My mindset was like, I'm a introverted extrovert. You are an extroverted.
Yes, that's true.
So like, I was expecting you to be like, nah, we need to be like active in finding some type of smile at all times together. I don't know why I had that. Okay. All right,
No.
I just learned something
I am
very new
perfectly
about
capable
you.
of finding that smile on my own and with others. That is also why I have so many friendships and I have a lot of people in my life, because then I'm not ever relying on one person to like be that only. No, I'm like, oh, all right, cool. I'll go hang out with my girlfriend and I'll go, and like, yeah, no,
True.
definitely
I didn't take in that depth, that dynamic. Like you also have other people in your life. Like I didn't.
Yeah, a lot of other people.
I was only thinking about me and whoever the other person is.
Right.
Expanded my mind.
All right. So your significant other says they need to refresh and take some time off from the relationship. Would you be open to this?
Like a break.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. My last relationship, it happened. We didn't get back together, but it happened. I was actually open to it. Usually I'm like, nah. Because the breakup, get back together thing, I tried that and that's just a waste of time. I tried the break thing to see if it, like I'm open to experiencing thing to see if it's a possibility. Yeah. But yeah, I was open to a break for the first time and it didn't pan out. I thought a break meant like you work on yourself, I work on myself, and we are not supposed to communicate. And I became like the guy that didn't communicate enough during the break. And it was like, oh, you don't care. I was like, I didn't know the terms of the break. So then I apparently messed up and it ended.
Okay, so moving forward, you don't think that you would be open to it probably based off of your experience?
No, I mean, I'm open to it. I'm not open to the breakup and then, because if we communicate, I'm not open to the breakup and then get back together, break up and then get back together.
Oh yeah, that's different.
But the break thing, yeah. If you need to figure out a way to like refuel your soul, and then when you find out what refuels your soul and you can communicate to that other person so that while you are together and you're back together, they can help be the reason that tank is not close to E anymore, then yeah, I think a break is cool.
I think so too, but I will say that there's got to be terms. If the break is just a break for to, like you said, refresh, that's one thing. If you're actually just breaking up and now they can go do whatever they want to do and hook up with whoever, and like, then we'll see if getting back together would make sense,
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't believe that your partner has what it takes to make the dream they're chasing a reality. It's been years of failure. Do you tell them how you feel?
Yes, because if I don't tell them how I feel, that means that I'm not helping them come up with a game plan to pivot to continue their dreams. Just because I tell them how I feel, what they're doing right now isn't working, doesn't mean that you can't pivot, restructure, rebrand, and then be successful in a different way. Doesn't mean stop following your dreams. That means you might have to alter your dreams to find success. And then with that success, you can then move over to get closer to that dream, to train differently, to learn different things, to be able to improve and get toward whatever that thing is. But am I going to communicate that? Yeah. Because I'm not about to live in failure for too long. Her success is my success and her failures is my... No, hell no. Yeah, we're going to communicate.
I think it would be very wise to know how you're going to communicate something like that, because the way that this question is worded, saying that you actually don't believe that they have what it takes to make it happen, to make their dream a reality.
In that moment.
It doesn't say in that moment.
It doesn't not say in that moment.
Right.
Time is not stopping or starting for anybody.
Would I straight up go up to my man and say, I don't think you have what it takes to make your dream happen? Absolutely not. Nah. I am going to be their biggest fan, their biggest cheerleader, their biggest support system. And what I would do is, instead of using that type of approach, I think I would say, hey, let's sit down and put a game plan together. How can I help you get closer to your dream? How can I help? How can we switch things up maybe to make this more successful? Come up with creative ideas of how, as a team, you can,
Could you imagine having to walk up to your significant other and be like, hey, yo, you f***ing suck? Could you imagine? I would never do that. The delivery would be
everything.
Much different. It is everything. But yes, it's going to be communicated. It has to be communicated. Do you agree with that it has to be communicated? Because if you don't...
I think it could be communicated in a way that is not attacking the person, saying like, you don't have what it takes and I don't believe in you. Or you can take a different approach and say, what you're doing right now, I don't think is working. So let's come up with a plan of how we can make it work.
Right.
But this was literally saying
let's talk about a specific scenario.
All right.
Okay. So let's say if a person wants to be a painter and they have endless amounts of art and it's all similar. So they have their signature, but their signature is not accepted by the world. There could be multiple issues here. There could be that art is just not good to the people that they're marketing it to, or that art cannot be good. And I could have a personal investment in the art. And that is why I say that it's good. Keep following your dreams. It could be that person just does not know the science that goes into creating art. It doesn't mean that they're not an artist. They might have to switch to a different form of painting and then use that signature in that form of painting. But like something has to change. Am I going to go to that person and say this is not good? No, I'm going to say those possible outcomes that I just mentioned.
Right.
We need to market to we need to try, like if you're doing the exact same thing and you're not finding the success that you hope to succeed, but you keep doing that exact same thing, that's insanity. The delivery of, I guess, how would I say that? I would probably just be like, okay, this is not working.
Right.
Would you agree or would you disagree?
Yep.
Do you want to change something so that we can potentially find some success with this thing?
Right.
If they say yes, then we'll come up with a game plan. If they say no, then what do we do? Do you stop supporting that dream? I would, because at that point, it's about only them. And I get that it's their dream, but if you're asking me to assist with that dream, it's partially my dream as well, because I care so much.
All right, last question. Your spouse gets put in prison for 20 years for a crime they never committed. What would you do? Would you stay by their side or would you leave?
I would stay with the person because it won't be 20 years. I'm going to figure it out. If I know for a fact, I would prove to the rest of the world that I know, and then they would know. And they're going to get out less than 20 years. So that's the scenario that I'm going to build around that. But if I feel that they're innocent.
No, we're not talking about feeling. We're talking about.
Yeah, no. All right, cool.
Okay. That's really hard. That's really, really hard. I think we would have to talk about it. And I mean, yeah, no, I don't think I wouldn't leave someone, but I think what I would do is I would get everyone that I know. It's like, I couldn't figure it out myself, but I think I could find people that could figure it out, that would be able to help prove their innocence as well. And then also I think that, oh man.
All right, for the sake of the question, if we didn't have the resources and it was a government thing, like the government needed them in prison for the rest of their life to cover themselves up, like some type of film. Are you ending it or are you Batmaning it? You can answer. Well, you're not going to be judged. For me, in that, answer first, because I feel like you're trying to find safety in my answer now. Go ahead.
I don't know what I would do. I would have to see when I'm in the situation.
That's
really
crazy.
don't.
You know what that answer is, people. You know what that means. I am not. Actually, no, I do want to be Batman. I might fight the government a little bit, but in the situation right now, logically thinking, no, I'm going to leave.
You know, I don't know, that there's a part of me that, like, if we have children together and I could throw myself into being a mom and that could be my whole world. I think that I could, dive into that role so deeply that, like, that would be where my love and fulfillment comes from, would be for my kids. And I don't know if to say that I would never desire companionship or want, like, someone in my life. I would be on my knees praying, I would be in the closet praying that God would somehow show mercy and that somehow the truth would come out and that there would be, like, the lies would be exposed. And I don't know, but that's really a tough one.
I'm gonna probably be single, but then again, could you imagine me as a black Batman? That would be fire.
Okay.
All
right, guys. Well, that ends our session. Our next one's going to be actually about marriage. So that one's going to be fun.
The party.
All right, that's it. Until next time.